Okay, morning. I've got notes for this one. I don't normally do notes because I prefer to just do it raw. It keeps it the way I am. But this one's important. The Kevin Thelwell interview. Um, I watched it yesterday when it came out, but I was still a bit ropey, and my reaction to it wouldn't have been. It would have been reactionary without a train of thought. So I've watched it twice. I've just watched it again. I watched it the first day, first came out. It was a bit ropey. I watched it again, and I've just watched it now. So this is me being objective. Right. See, everyone deserves a second chance in life. I've had them. You've had them. Your kids have had. We've all had them. What I wanted to hear from Kevin Thelwell was, I got it wrong. We get it wrong. We're bringing in Russell Martin and the poor recruitment. He never said anything close to that. See, if he had said that, I'd have been right. Okay, fair enough. You got it wrong. You admit you got it wrong. You're going to do better. There was zero, absolutely zero about like that. And that's, I'm sitting here trying not to use vulgar language and stuff like that, but I dislike this man intently. Okay, but here we go. So I'll go through his thing. Right. Do people get a second chance? He said, and here's something that I've put this in red lettering. Something that annoyed me. And this is actually quite petty. He says when he was talking about Danny Rowe, and he says, "I'm pleased with what I've seen." You know, and that's me. I'm talking as a Rangers fan, obviously. I mean, he thinks he's part of us. He thinks he's us and all that. And again, that's petty, but I found that icky when he was saying about it. Right. I've got to take the right. Forget about what I've just said. Ish. Let's talk about the positive things he said, or what he's the rest of the interview. And the interview was a powder puff thing. He may as well have written the question himself. It seems like there was no tough questions there. Anyway, moving on. He said we're getting a Rangers man in as a coach and a set piece guy. He said, watch this space. I mean, that means it's happening, you know. I know some people on the page have said, well, why is it taking so long? Well, they're taking their time. I just think they wanted to wait. They wanted to get Danny Roll in and they wanted to just get him hitting the ground running. You know, forget about that kind of stuff. We know it's needed. We'll get the person in due course. So we're just focusing on the supporting him right from the off. Even though, to contradict myself, you can do two things at once. But I'm sure the ball's rolling. Well, it is rolling with the new Rangers coach, Rangers-minded coach. You know, okay? He talked about the referee thing against Celtic. I don't dwell on that too much about on the pages, you know, about referees. They've approached the SFA and they're dealing with it. And I'll leave it at that because I just don't do the referee thing because it's, you know, we've got a new data guy, and like, I know I'm a dinosaur, but the data thing, go and watch a guy play football and see how good he is. You know, but I know places like the Rangers Journal. Please go and watch the Rangers Journal's data stuff. I know a lot of the pages do data. The one I go to is the Rangers Journal guys, even though I'm contradicting myself here with data. You know, and I know I do get the data thing. I do get it. You know, but at the end of the day, it's about the 90 minutes that boy's on the pitch and his attitude, his passing, his goal scoring, his goal saving. You know, it's about his attitude. Is he going to fit in at Rangers? Because this is too heavy for a lot of them. The jersey, you know. A new director of football, right? And I'm like, well, I thought that's what you did. You know, to be fair, he explained. I won't go into it all because I know this video is going to be longer than normal as it is. He explained what the director of football is, and he explained what all the other positions, the sub positions, assistants to him basically do. And I thought, all right, okay, and I got it. That was fair enough, right? Youth development. And he said something that I found quite important. He said he's looking at the local area for Rangers players, youth players, kids that are Rangers fans, growing up in the area, so whether it's Glasgow, Ayrshire, Lanarkshire, you know what I mean, basically Scotland, because we are the biggest team in Scotland when we have some great players, because I'm sure all of you are playing, anyone reading this knows a kid that's a great footballer. My little nephew, Rory, you've seen videos of the cheeky little. So he's a great wee player, goalkeeper, striker, midfield. He can do it all both feet. But anyway, he talked about the January transfer windows, and he said something here. He's talked. Danny Rowe did an assessment of what he sees at the club, what he sees in the playing staff, how he feels they are, and I think we can actually guess now with these team selections who he likes and who he doesn't like. You know, I'm not going to name players right now because I'll do that in another video because I'm going to do a separate video about Danny Roll, my own thing about him since. But he did say, and he was quite, I felt he was quite explicit at this. He says that Danny's going to get the final say in players coming in. And that, if I've read that wrong, correct me. But that's what he said, and I thought, okay, then that was the one thing out of everything he said that I thought, good. We needed to hear that as a Rangers fan. We needed to hear that Danny Roll's got the final say. You know, he says he doesn't want Danny Roll putting out the cat's just caught an animal, a mouse or something. But the that was important because you don't want to be working with tools that you don't like. You know, me as a mechanic, I don't want somebody giving me a 15mm spanner when it's a 14 I need. You know, that's the kind of the stripped back version. Now I go raw. But as I say, take accountability. See if they just said they got it wrong. Like Mr. Kavanagh said. He said, I've got it wrong, we won't get it wrong again. What I do think though, there's a shot, they will have it, you know, at work if you mess up, you get a written warning, a verbal warning, final warning and all that. They've, obviously, Patrick Stewart and Thelwell have been given a second chance by Mr. Kavanagh. And being objective, a man in Mr. Kavanagh's position, that's what he does. People get a second chance, you know. So, despite me saying that he didn't accept responsibility, Mr. Kavanagh obviously thinks he can do it right. He will have sat down with Thelwell and Stewart and bollocked him, basically. Bollocked him, right? You've got to get this right. This is on you. Get this right. I will back you financially. I mean, obviously, we're not going to be paying £20 million for a player. Oh, you never know. So, Stewart and Thelwell are here to stay to this transfer window. They would not have given that interview otherwise. So despite what I want, despite what you want, they're here. And it's very, very difficult to say, I've got to give them support. I just do not like this man. You know, and I don't like saying that. It's not healthy to say that. Obviously, Patrick Stewart's been given a role in some kind of football board. I did read it over, but I find it so difficult to listen to these two men. But as I say, I just felt that interview yesterday was, I won't call it forced. I think it was a PR exercise, you know, and he's getting no self-awareness. He's getting no accountability. You know, if he just had started that video with, listen, I know it's not been perfect. We got it wrong with Russell Martin. I take responsibility for that. I was involved in that. And now we'll get Danny Rowland. He's got our full backing. We like what we see. See, if you'd done that, I think everyone here would have been saying, you know what, fair enough, you got it wrong. I know when I've messed up at working places or with the good lady inside say, I'm sorry. After she's calmed down a bit, we all accept it. You know, same with my kids. When my kids mess up, they say, as long as they admit it, hands up. So there we go. It's that was a difficult watch, a real difficult watch, and I had to take notes because I wanted to get it right. I didn't want to be too emotive, even though I'm standing here now in my garden, getting sunburned. But anyway, thanks for listening and all that, and it's back to normal. I will be doing other videos. Yeah, cheers.